Sauti Sol is arguably Kenya's biggest export in terms of music and pop culture in general. The band was formed in 2005 as an a cappella group by Bien Aime Baraza, Chimano, Savara, who had met at the Upper Hill School and performed in Voices in the Light. Guitarist Polika Putieno joined before they named themselves Sauti Sol. Together they have a total of 5 studio albums and 2 EPs. Wanzo is their debut album and was released on August 4th, 2009 by Penya Records. This album is easily the most underrated because they were basically unknown then. While I was doing research for this video, I barely found any of the original's music video in YouTube and in the official channels. You really have to dig deep to find good quality videos. Their breakout track for this album was with no doubt Lazizi. Lazizi wangu we. This also happens to be the only song with a significant presence in terms of streaming numbers. Second album Soul Philosophia, which was released in 2011, was when they became a household name in Kenya and Eastern Africa, with tracks like Coming Home that turned grown-ass men into emo fanboys, and Soma Kijana showed how much they elevated their music video games. Soma. Something about this album just screams nostalgia every time you listen to it. I'm not gonna lie, it kinda sucks people know only these 2 songs from it. This album was a freaking hit. Third album, Live and Die in Africa, is what made them a household name not only in Kenya but also in Africa. This is in my opinion their greatest ever work. They abandoned the guitar and a cappella and switched into an Afro jazz and pop band. Basically, they went mainstream and demanded the whole of Africa to acknowledge them. Msura Yako with over 17 million views, Bam Bam with 2.5 million views, Isabella with 8.3, Live and Die with 2.4, and Still the One with 6.3. And of course, the first ever Melta Strap song, Nishike. All in all, that was my favorite album because they actually took time to create a music video for a lot of their songs. So seriously, name the band or artist you know in Kenya and Africa who took time to create a music video for every single one of their songs in their albums. None. Sauti Sol are the only people to ever do it. African Source was the 4th studio album dropped in 2019, and this album was famous for one reason only. Everyone wanted a piece of Sauti Sol, with collabs from heavy hitters like Pato Ranking in Melanin, Tiwa Savage in Girl Next Door, Burna Boy, Calligraph Jones, Nyashinsky, Sifo Pedro, and Yemi Alade. The most memorable song is with no doubt Melanin with almost 40 million views. As of making this video, this is also the most viewed music in Kenyan history. And finally, Midnight Train in 2019 with tracks like Susanna, Short and Sweet, Rumba Japani. 5 studio albums, millions of streams on Spotify, millions of views on YouTube, successful solo careers with a successful soul-fest music attracting big-time sponsors and selling out year after year after year, with big African and international acts performing in each edition. A successful music label signing big artists like Enviri the Storyteller and Bensoul, and easily the only group in Kenya to have international concerts. Sauti Sol is the most successful band of all time in Kenya and easily one of the best in Africa, if not the best. It's kinda sad that on May 20th, 2023, they announced a breakup to pursue solo careers, but hey, someday we just hope they reunite and drop another album. Camp Mulla will go down as the biggest missed opportunity in Kenya history in terms of music. An alternative hip-hop group, they rose to prominence with the release of their single Party Don't Stop on the 31st of August 2010. I don't care where you are in 2010, but one thing I know, nobody thought this was a Kenyan band when they first heard this track. The mixing was never before seen or heard. The video quality and the production looked Western. They did not sound in any way like African kids. Consisting of 4 members, Kusma, Shapaman, Tayo Tripa, and of course the face of the group, Lady Karun. All 3 of these brought the buzz. Lady Karun brought the hooks and the chorus. A majority of Camp Mulla songs incorporated hip-hop and contemporary R&B, with tracks like Feel No Pain, Fresh All Day, Addicted, and Hold It Down. Camp Mulla dominated the radio stations in the early 2010s. You would literally not switch stations without hearing their tracks getting played. Not only that, they revolutionized pop culture in Kenya and Africa in general. Let's be honest, these were a bunch of entitled rich kids who got freaking lucky and came out at the right time. Everyone I grew up around literally wanted to be them. Camp Mulla only dropped 1 album in their whole tenure back in 2012 called Funky Town. I always hear a funny story that the famous Nigerian rapper Wizkid once begged for a collab with them back in 2011. I don't know how true this rumor is, but that right there just goes to show you how big they were. From winning several awards and being nominated for BT Award, opening for P-Square, performing at Big Brother Africa, and the grand final for the Tusker Project fame. Okay, enough me trying, let's get the obvious elephant in the room. This group split for the dumbest reason. Apparently lead singer Karun left so that she can pursue further education abroad in America, and then she got pregnant. The group did a brief reunion at a random concert in 2017 2017 where they downright lied to everyone about a reunion, which never happened, and then yeah, that's the last we ever heard of these rich kids, who could have been as big as NWA, Wu-Tang Clan, hell, the Migos, but nope. Let me know in the comments, who was your favorite Camp Mulla member, and what is your favorite Camp Mulla track? Elani is a Kenyan African pop group from Nairobi consisting of 3 members, Wamboi Ngugi, Branch Wire, and Kunga. The trio released their debut single Jana Usiku in November 2013, and calling this song a classic is an understatement. This song was played everywhere, but nothing comes close to its second song, which we'll get to in a minute. In 2014, the trio released numerous singles in the making of their debut album Barua ya Dunia, but perhaps their biggest hit of all time and their peak was when they dropped the Kuku song in 2014. This was literally the third song and they peaked right here. If you ever feel shit about your life, always remember Elani peaked with their third song, and that was over a decade ago. Throughout their career, they've only dropped one studio album, Barua ya Dunia, which, judging from their non-existent Spotify numbers, I doubt anyone ever listens to it. Lele was also another sleeper banger that unfortunately people forgot about, and Barua ya Dunia was also a vibe song to listen to on road trips. Here's the thing about this band. This is one of those scenarios where they were just victims of pure bad luck. This group does not lack talent and skill. Hands down, I'll even say it straight, Kunga has the best voice in any female artist in Kenya ever. Yeah, even more than whoever you think sounds good. Better than anyone. Nobody can touch her. Wamboi Ngugi is the queen of bridges, and Branch Wire, well, he's kinda good looking, and yeah, that's about it. But you see, thing is, they had absolutely zero management, taken advantage of by the Music Copyright Society of Kenya, because check this out. On 12th January 2016, Elani released a statement through their YouTube channel and accusing the MCSK of corruption over music royalty disparity.
The check that they gave us, which was a check for 31,000 shillings, which was supposed to be the value of Elani music playing everywhere for the period of a year, didn't make a lot of sense to us. If everyone gives this money into MCSK, why isn't any money coming out?
Having paid them 31,000 for their royalties for television and radio airplay. Point is, they got screwed, they quit their music, and unfortunately, they are now working regular ass jobs. 2 of them are lawyers, and the other one, I don't know what the hell she does. She's not even on LinkedIn. Hopefully someday they make a comeback. Kleptomaniaxx is a rap group consisting of 3 members, Roba, Kolo, and Nyashinsky. When they were still high school students at the Nairobi school, the group joined the Ogopa DJs label and released their first single, Freak It, in 2002. What actually put them on the map was their 2004 banger hit, Tuendelee ama Tusiendelee. I don't care where you were born, you know this song. Kolo was the chorus guy, Nyashinsky was the bass guy. Another hit song was Swing Swing. It's hard to judge how successful this group was in terms of numbers because none of their sales records are public records. They dropped 2 albums and 3 bangers and they disbanded back in 2007, but Nyashinsky was the only one amongst the 3 who managed a successful comeback in 2016 and is one of the most streamed artists in Kenya. Kleptomaniaxx is regarded as the pioneers of Kapuka style of rap in the 2000s, and of course we will always thank them for that. P-Unit is a Kenyan hip-hop group consisting of Frasha, Gabu, and Bonai. They will go down as the first ever official functional hip-hop group in Kenya. Think of them as the Kenyan version of the NWA. Frasha was the bass guy, Bonai was the hooks and chorus, and Gabu the third strongman with memorable quotes. P-Unit ruled the radio station and TV airways back in the late 2000s and early 2010s. It's not even far-fetched to say that this group actually were the first hip-hop group in Africa to actually go mainstream. The crew released the album Wagenge Hao in 2010 with 17 tracks, and in 2015 they released Wagenge Hao 10 now, which had 12 tracks. The first album had memorable hits like Jutu Sana, Una, Kushoto Kulia, Silazma, and my favorite, Kare. And in their second album, Wagenge Hao Tena, you could sense some maturity and evolution in their music. They went from singing about sex and drugs and partying to actual well-composed, vibey, catchy music, and are now working with almost every big acts in Kenya. Songs like You Guy featuring Kolo, Gentleman featuring Sauti Soul, and in my opinion, the best ever song, Weka Weka. Also, they had really good music videos. I mean, just check this out. These guys were just it. Oh, by the way, they did release this song Wabi back in 2016 without the Bonai guy, and turns out it's because they were beefing. And this was perhaps the last time the P-Unit group ever dropped a memorable song together, because after this, they all went their separate ways. The Kansoul is a Kenyan music group that was initially formed by Major, producer Kid Kora, and Matrax. It was formed in 2014 after the 3 followed their individual careers to focus on the group. Before coming together to form the group, the 3 had successful individual careers in their various fields. For instance, by the time the group was being formed, Major was flying high with these songs such as Landlord, Kwani Jana Kuliandaje, Nikopoa, Twenzetu, among others. Matrax was shining bright with hits that included Get Down's Kama Race. The first song, Double Tap, dropped in 2014 and the music was unique, basically paying homage to the Instagram feature of double tapping to like. Of the three, Kid Kora was the less famous guy as he was mostly involved in the behind-the-scenes job, since he was a music producer before venturing into signing. They have officially no album dropped. However, as a group, they have released top songs that include Utamu wa Life, No Woman No Party, Tumekubali, Moto wa Koti Ambale, Shinda, Nyongwa, Titima, Drum, Babega. One thing about the kansoul, they carried the 2010s with their party-themed tracks. Every time you hear a kansoul song, you know the party was about to be lit. The most famous track in the 2010s was with no doubt Babla and Accelerator. The standout and breakout star amongst them is definitely Major, given that he is the only one who still actively releases music to this very day. They parted ways in 2017 and unfortunately that was the last we'll ever hear from them. The first person to leave the group was Kid Kora, but Matrax and Major kept on collabing years later, featuring with other artists and groups like Ethic. Speaking of Ethic, we gotta talk about the group that revolutionized a new sound wave and music genre in Kenya, the infamous Gengetone. Since they released their 2018 instant hit Lamba Lolo, the group consists of Reckless, Swat, Wamatire, and Seska. At the moment, Ethic Group music enjoys a massive social media following and their videos are amongst the most viewed in the country. No, seriously, you think I'm joking? Check this out. They got over 12 songs with over 1 million. I mean, for a Kenyan hip-hop group that sings basically about sex, drugs, and rats, this is a big deal. With great success comes great controversy. Given the little content and information in their songs, this comes with a great deal of scrutiny. The songs have been heavily censored in the airwaves and one of them, Beba Now, was taken down from YouTube because of copyright issues. The star of the group is Reckless, Swat is the bass guy, and this guy is called Sexa. But let's be real, Reckless is the main reason we tune in into an Ethic song. Briefly in 2021 they split, or let me put it this way, Reckless left and the group almost collapsed due to, well, they kinda sucked. Think of Reckless as Justin Timberlake in NSYNC, Camila Cabello in Fifth Harmony. However, in February 2025, they made a comeback and are now back to releasing music as a group and bringing back the Gengetone genre sound. They have done a few collabs with other Kenyan artists, most notably New Position alongside the kansoul and Tao with the Boondocks Gang. Boondocks Gang are a 3-man Gengetone group comprising of X-Ray, Maddox, and Odiwa Muranga. Started off around the same time as Ethic back in 2018 with their debut song. While Ethic is unanimously credited for starting the Gengetone, Boondocks Gang are the ones who made it cool for other people. The songs were catchy, had simple budget for their music videos. I mean, just look at these cheap thoughts in the name of vixens. X-Ray Taniwa was the most well-known of the trio. He was the chorus guy and the hook guy, while Odiwa Muranga was like the Pop Smoke from Naivas with his deep vocals and his pink dyed hair looking ass. The most famous track were Rieng and Vidole. However, the tale of Boondocks is kinda sad and unfortunate because if you're really being honest, just like how Ethic is basically Reckless, Boondocks Gang is just X-Ray. Come on, people tune in to listen to his hooks and lyrics. Nobody cares about these other guys for the most part. They haven't completely split, but it's quite obvious they're all focusing on the solo careers and less on the group. Ever since X-Ray started going solo, he's found more success than when he was in the group. I mean, all these videos have surpassed the groups in terms of popularity by the streaming numbers and views. And he's getting all the cool collabs that he could never do while he was in the group. Usherati alongside frequent collaborator Major is almost clocking 4 million views. Pesandogo 2 million views, and his biggest hit Sipangwingwi just surpassed the 10 million mark. Odiwa Muranga has only one true solo hit, and I'm not gonna lie, I've never even heard of any of this before. Hell, as of writing this script, this is my first time I actually made it to his YouTube channel. That's how bad it is.
Ushawahi kumkalisha Maddox chini na kumuongelesha?
Si mara moja hadi. Si mara moja.
Boondocks Gang is a special kind of letting in a bottle where they are better when they are alone than when they work as a group. Remember when I said Ethic Entertainment created Gengetone and Boondocks Gang made it the cool thing? Sailors Gang made it mainstream. I'm not even making this up. When these two were doing it, it sounded like some pet projects made by wannabes who were just trying to be famous. Until when Sailors Gang dropped Wamlambez in April 2019. Calling this song a hit is an understatement. Normally, a song's hype lasts for around 6 months or so, but this shit carried over throughout the COVID era. Whenever someone shouted Wamlambez, no matter who you are, where you are, or what you're doing, it was mandatory to respond with Wamnyonyez. They could have stopped here and be called one-hit wonders like many other groups, but no, they just kept dropping bangers after bangers after bangers. Packaging, banger. Queen Bee, banger. Patanisha, fucking banger. Yandus, banger. Hell, They even made a song with Dr. Pizzo that turns out is one of his biggest hits. You know you're big when a veteran like Dr. Pizzo has one of his biggest songs coming from your group. These niggas were unstoppable. Prime Gengeton era, everyone unanimously agreed Sailors Gang were the guys. But you know the ultimate hater saying made by the most salty mhenga, aliye juu mgoja chini. With how quick Sailors Gang ascended into mainstream popularity with zero direction and zero fixed goals, zero agendas, they were a burning candle, literally. Here's the thing about the Sailors Gang. I don't know how politely I can say this, but everyone here in this group was kinda stupid. Now seriously, indulge me for a minute, check this out. They had absolutely zero situational awareness of the opportunities and luck that they had while they were up. Like when Murugi Munyi confessed she used to get piped in some cheap-ass club toilets and talking about empowering women on the other side of her ass. That kinda stupid. Apparently, Sailors Gang lost their first YouTube channel and all the progress they had in their songs because they kept getting drunk and wasted, and their former manager Mwalimu Rachel had enough of them. They never had a YouTube channel. Mwalimu Rachel uploaded all the songs in her channel. They later went and betrayed her by signing a deal with this shady-ass black market record label behind Mwalimu Rachel's back.
Things got tighter financially, and that's when this record company, record label, came in and promised them good things. Tutalipia rent, tutapatia pesa. Na hapo ndio Peter, Miracle Baby as the leader of the group, akaenda kakaa chini na wao, without my knowledge, without my company's knowledge, signed a deal with them, and I didn't know about this until the representative of this record company came up to me and told me, by the way, they signed a deal.
Later turned out to bite them in the ass later on because this label was a scam. By the way, we're going to talk about black market records someday. They're a recurring factor to the demise of the many Gengeton groups. Seriously, if you go and start looking up why many of these groups broke apart, it all coincides with them signing with black market records. I don't know who controls this, I don't know who runs this, and I don't know why they all decided to sign to this record, but someone has to do a thorough investigation on this. They had no backup plan during COVID when all the money they used to make in concerts and small gigs dried up because of the excessive partying when the lockdown hit. They lost their sponsorships, their fan base, and slowly members started calling each other out and quitting the group. Some of them became gospel musicians, others became bitter-ass losers, blaming others for their mistakes, but the main guy, Miracle Baby, found moderate success in Mugidi, which turned out to be unsustainable when it was revealed that he was also broke as fuck when he couldn't afford to pay simple medical bills. This video by Ongori Reports does more justice than I ever could have. Shout out Ongori. All in all, Sailors Gang is just a side case of good opportunities given to the wrong people. Ochungulo Farm is perhaps the only Gengeton group that never split and never broke up, featuring Nelly the Goon, Benzema, and Dimore. They have 3 studio albums, with their most famous being Book 1. And going by the YouTube channel, the first ever song dropped was Nikowera featuring Nelly the Goon and Chris Kaiga. The second song was Borrow High, where the new member Dimore joined the group, and the duo also released 2 bangers in Borrow High and Criminal. This was during the conception of the Gengeton era, and slowly they were growing their fan base and the genre as a whole. Officially, they became a trio with the song Nauiwake when Benzema joined, and they became the Ochungulo family. Fun fact, did you know that this nigga used to sing some shitty ass dubstep music in some anonymous group called Electronica Circle? Yeah, just an FYI. Raleigh the Goon is the face of the group. He has the slick bars and calm voice while delivering his lines. The sections of the songs are the most replayable. Benzema is the chorus guy for the most part, and Dimore is the backup rapper. The biggest hit is Kana Mama Yako with almost 5 million views. Haluta comes a close second with Dudu and Pandemic slowly following along. They have also done several collabs both as a group and as solo artists. Their most famous one being Bandana Ya Isa featuring Isa's brother Habibi and Nameless, whereas as solo artist Nele the Goon clearly the breakout guy. Benzema also shines here and there in features like this one he sang with Savara, the Sauti soul group. This other song he did with Hart, the band you probably never heard of. I hate to play favorites, but during the Gengeton era, if I have to pick a favorite, it's definitely the Ochungulo farm. Never blew up out of proportion like the Sailors, never split over petty differences like the Ethic Gang, and individually were never bigger than the group like the Boondocks gang. Shout out to Ochungulo family. Alright, enough Gengeton, let's get back to good old hip-hop. Wakadinali is a Kenyan hip-hop group with 3 members, Domani Munga, Sky Mkadinali, and Siwa Sida, also known as Wrong Rende. They started out as an underground hip-hop group and broke into the mainstream media in 2020. Dania Cockpit 1 was their debut album in 2017. It was then followed by a second album in 2018, Dania Cockpit 2. The album uses a lot of trap sounds. In 2019, they collaborated with Kenya rapper Diana Courts to release the single Morio Anzenza. In 2020, Wakadinali released the Victims of Madness album, which brought them them into the mainstream. The 15-track album heavily relied on real sounds and included hit songs like XL, Extra Pressure, and Morian Zenza. A common theme of the album is gun violence, with songs such as Triple XL entirely focused on the topic. In the album, Wakadinali frequently hit that gun violence is not always originating from the gangsters, but rather from the police officers. Police brutality is a common theme in songs such as Njege Sansei and Kim Jong-un. In 2021, in collaboration with Subboy, they released Eri Inengi. The song popularized the Sheng Subaru ya Mambaru. Damn, these guys really hit the purpose. In 2022-2023, Wakadinali were the second most streamed local artist in Kenya on Spotify. They also released 3 albums: Easy, Haitaki Asira, and Dania Cockpit 3. Yeah, these guys know their shit. These guys are talented. They just need better management and more exposure, and maybe get signed to a better label. Shout out Wakadinali. And finally, Hart the Band, perhaps the only other group apart from Sauti Soul that are known outside Kenya. Hart the Band is now the last hope for Kenya to make a mainstream music that will blow up in Africa. The band, made up of Mordecai Mwini, Wichini Gatama, and Kenneth Muya. The music is known for its unique blend of Afrofusion, soul, and pop, often accompanied by powerful and meaningful lyrics. Their first banger was Uliza Kiatu in 2014. This was the song that put them on the map and everyone knew them by it. It wasn't just a catchy tune, it was a reflection of the struggles men faced. The song became a timeless anthem. 3 albums, many bangers with millions of views, and not a single line of weed and sex spoken. But the band's most popular song is El Shaddai, but the most well-known is My Jaber. This group single-handedly transcends all media. Fashion, they got it. Looks, they got it. Talent, they got it. Stage performance, they fucking got it. I'm not gonna lie, out of all the concerts in Kenya I've been to, whenever I heard the band sings on stage, that's when I stop all my drinking, all my tomfoolery, and lock in to listen to this group. I lock in and I pay attention. I don't even use my phone, I just listen, because this is talent. It's an experience, it's euphoric. Every time Mordecai opens his mouth, it's just epic. And hey, just like the Sauti Soul, they can all play instruments. They've also featured in many other collabs and will go down as the only group in Kenya with no haters or controversy. Seriously, look me in the eye and tell me one person you know of that hates Hart the Band. Zero. None. They are unanimously loved. Yeah, and that's basically it. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite group in Kenya and what's your favorite track they sung. Till next time, tuchekiani wase.